because the hardest thing I found from past experience to secure a valuable mentor, a mentoring relationship, is to actually find the right person who is prepared to basically invest some of their valuable time in you.
Having a program like this organized that will bring people of that caliber and make them accessible has been really good.
I expected that the mentoring relationship would have some sort of benefit, but I was really blown away, especially now in hindsight, about what a huge difference it made.
Welcome to the Tech Waka podcast, where we dive into the journeys of New Zealand's top tech leaders. Your host for today is Jakub, bringing you conversations with tech leaders and innovators from across Aotearoa. Join us as we uncover the experiences, challenges, and successes that shape our tech community.
Welcome to the Tech Waka podcast. In this episode, I'm joined by Barbara and James, two participants from the very first Tech Waka Mentorship program cohort. You will hear about what led them to apply, how their mentor relationship helped unlock unexpected growth, and how a simple connection led to a big career shift. This episode is packed with honesty, insights, and plenty of aha moments. Let's get into it. This episode of the Tech Waka podcast is proudly brought to you by Wires Uncrossed, lifting the standard of software delivery across New Zealand, Australia, and beyond. A big thanks to Wires Uncrossed for supporting the Tech Waka mission and backing the voices of our tech leadership community. To learn more, go to wiresuncrossed.co.nz. Hello, hi Barbara, hi James. How are you two going?
Good. Hello, Jakub. Nice to see you both.
Hi, Jakub. Hi, James.
Nice.
Yeah, nice to see you.
So both of you are part of the first Tech Waka mentorship cohort that we started, I think, in March. And we now have a new cohort coming, and I thought that it would be great to hear from both of you about your experiences, about benefits, maybe surprises that you experienced throughout the cohort so far. How does it sound?
Sounds good.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
So maybe let's start with James. How did you hear about the program and what made you apply?
So I don't think we were connected on LinkedIn, Jakub, but somehow your post came across my feed and I noticed it a couple of times and hummed and hawed over whether I should apply. And then tangentially to that, some stuff was happening in my own work. My boss and mentor had resigned. Someone in the leadership team had given me some pretty critical feedback that had left me sort of awash with some feelings, and then thought I should reach out and actually give that a go. And so that sort of prompted me. That's what prompted me to apply, and
Right.
It's worked out pretty well. Yeah.
Oh, is that actually interesting? Because I've been on your newsletter for a while as well. So when your name popped up, I was like, I know this name from somewhere, but I didn't connect the dots immediately. But later on, I did.
Great.
Yeah. What about you, Barbara? How did you learn about the program and what made you apply?
Yes, it was very similar. I saw it on LinkedIn and immediately thought, oh, that could really help me figure some things out for my career. I had a look at the list of mentors initially and spotted Anna's name on there, who I'd met a year before briefly, and really thought she was an inspiring leader. So I thought I might just throw my hat in the ring and give this a go, because the hardest thing I found from past experience to secure a valuable mentor, a mentoring relationship, is to actually find the right person who is prepared to basically invest some of their valuable time in you. And I thought that you, Jakub, had already organized that. So yeah, great opportunity and really happy to give it a go.
Well done to both of you for giving it a go and applying, because as you said, these opportunities happen and you really never know what's going to happen. But that sending application in is really easy, or can be very easy, right? Happen.
Yeah,
Did
it was
happen.
great. Yeah.
Tell us more about the process of how you work with your mentor, and is there something specific or interesting, how you connect, and what's your collaboration mode is?
I had a goal before I applied. I wanted to change the direction my leadership career was taking a little bit, but I didn't really know how to go about it at all. And we did this really useful exercise that you suggested, which was to imagine ourselves 4 to 5 months in the future, in the end of the mentoring program, effectively, and visualize what we might have achieved and learned during the time. So I did that and visualized myself in this amazing new job, making all kinds of progress on the job and with the people working with me. Yeah, that was a really useful exercise. So in my relationship, I was pretty much the one who had the goals and everything was centered around the goal and achieving the goal. I was lucky enough to have my mentor's time every week for about half an hour. So we did shorter sessions, but very frequent. And that consisted of talking through a particular problem to solve on my journey towards my goal, and often involved some type of homework, like connect to a career counselor and have a chat with them, or do a strengths test, or reach out to some other people in the mentorship program for coffee catch-ups to see whether there was any inputs, any roles available in the community that I might be interested in applying for.
I was quite fortunate to be paired with Alex Henderson, who was my manager once upon a time. So we already had an existing relationship, so that we can already build on that, which is nice. It's almost like flipping back into our one-on-ones where they left off. We meet less frequently, so we meet probably once a month. It's been ad hoc, so we'll build up sort of a backlog of stuff and go, okay, let's catch up now. But we're in a shared Slack channel where there's lots of async sort of conversations that go on as well. I've been brain dumping with him this morning, even on some stuff that's going on. I guess it's a casual mentoring relationship, but he's there on tap for me. I don't know whether he's happy about that or not, but it's working really well.
And any biggest benefits? Maybe, Barbara, your story about the goal, where did it go?
Yeah, I was a little bit confused. I knew that I had been an engineering manager for a few years, or have been an engineering manager for a few years. And was yearning a little bit to turn my career back into a more technical leadership role, returning to the roots. I'm really passionate about software development and software development practices, and found myself like maybe a couple of steps removed from those like hands-on practices. So at first I didn't really know how to go about it, because my career had evolved pretty much organically, and I'd been offered promotions at my current workplace and worked my way up, but I hadn't really ever thought about what it actually is that I want to be doing and how to maybe refocus. So my mentor brought in a completely different set of experiences and different approach, and encouraged me, rather than to think it through to the nth degree and trying to come up with the right solution through tests and talking, she suggested to just go out there and apply for quite a few very different roles to learn from the experience, from the interviewing process, and see what feels right, what feels wrong, and take it from there. And that's pretty much what I did. I started to apply for some roles, some of them appearing fairly random at the time, and being lucky enough to secure some interviews and get to meet some people and talk through the roles. And pretty much exactly what she said happened. I was drawn to a particular company and was lucky enough to secure a role there.
That's amazing. Really good. James, what are some of the benefits for you so far?
Still but different. I came into the program with a sort of a set of challenges and a set of things to unpick. That the first thing was, what does engineering manager mean and how do I start? I'd fallen into it a little bit, and how do I start taking this seriously? What will I be doing, and what is my role? Because it's been a little bit undefined for me. And so there was some of that stuff, some stuff on working with difficult stakeholders in the organization, and how do I navigate that. I've done some writing today. One of the things we're encouraged to do is to write about our experiences on the program. And so one of the things I've written about today is my mentor, when I said I was struggling with politics in the office, he took that and said, okay, start reframing that, because it's a negative connotation. And he taught me to use the word diplomacy instead. And that sort of completely reframed that. And so that was really good. In the midst of all that, I also changed jobs halfway through the program, which was a bit of a curveball. And so that the mentoring has switched from navigating some of that stuff to some conversations on how to finish in the job well and not burning your bridges and that sort of thing. But then also how to start well in a new role and what are the things that I should be concentrating on. So there's been lots of really valuable stuff there that I'm putting into place today.
Any other benefits of being part of the wider cohort?
I think the fringe benefit that I didn't expect was the networking component of it. So we all met once at the start of the program. Since then, I went to Wellington for Tech Rally Conference for a month ago. Rachel, who is one of the mentors on the program, was also one of the speakers at the conference. I got to connect with her. Stuart, another one of the mentees on the program, also reached out to me, who's based in Wellington, and said, while you're here, we should catch up and had a drink and shared some mentoring stories. And so that has been one of the fringe benefits for me too, is the people you get to know through the program who are going through sort of similar experiences and being able to connect and share that way. It's that, I guess you call it the networking component of it.
Same for me. I was surprised about how easy networking can be when you're part of a group like this, because it is just normal and really easy to reach out to other participants in the program. And for me personally, we had a coffee for all the Wellington people because we heard that you Auckland people are having coffees. So we thought we'll do one too. And that's where I met another mentor on the program, Rachel. And we had a really good coffee chat. And there were a couple of other people, Stuart and another guy was there as well. It was really fun. And then 4 weeks later, a role popped up at the organization where Rachel is working. And she was actually the hiring manager. And because I had met her before at the CAF, I suppose I felt courageous enough to reach out to her because I wasn't 100% sure if this was the right role for me or not. So I've reached out to her and pinged her and I said, look, would she be able to tell me a little bit more about the role? And yes, she was more than happy to. And within half an hour, had me really excited to apply, which I did. And yeah, then a number of interviews later, I managed to be successful and be offered the role. And none of that would have happened, I don't think, if I hadn't been part of the program. I would have maybe looked at the ad and wondered for a bit and then probably left it.
It's really heartwarming hearing this because one of the reasons why I started Tech Waka overall was to build that tight-knit community of tech leaders. I think it's quite often, I feel it at least, and I heard it from others as well, is how lonely it can be in leadership role. So one of the reasons why we have Tech Waka, to start sharing these stories on the podcast, to have meetups like the breakfast we have in Auckland and then other sessions, and the mentoring program was extension of that. So it's really good to hear that you get use of that because that was part of the design. So really good.
I should clarify that I'm based in Tauranga, not Auckland, and there's not yet been a Tech Waka breakfast in Tauranga. But if there's anyone out there watching who wants to do that, I will have breakfast with you.
Oh, James, it's as simple as you telling me I want to run it. You tell me where you're going to run it and what time. I can set it up on meetup.com. And my approach when I hosted the first breakfast was that if no one comes, I'm just going to have coffee by myself. I will read a book and that's it. So that's the worst thing that can happen. I think we need to make it happen.
Okay, yeah, let's make it happen. Mike, I know the spot. We'll do it.
Cool. All right. So that's the audience now. Hopefully you can hear it. Maybe we're going to run it in a couple of weeks so that hopefully the podcast is out by that time. And yeah, just look for the Tech Waka Leadership Collective and the meetup is going to be there if you're in Tauranga. And yeah,
perfect.
Great. That is awesome.
All right, let's do it.
And maybe any surprises, anything that you are expecting and to happen, either positive, negative, or something that was really surprising for you?
I've got another couple of surprises.
Yeah,
First one was when I reached out informally to one of the other mentors about the role that was advertised in her organization. I was basically trying to describe how I felt as a manager in my manager role and how I was always remembering and kind of felt myself drawn to a more technical leadership role and doing the splits a bit. And then she immediately asked me whether I had heard about the engineer-manager pendulum, and I had not. So she sent me the link to the article, which I think is a few years old by now. And I was absolutely surprised and amazed that there's a whole lot of other people who are feeling the same emotions and are going through the same pendulum sort of thoughts. Yeah, that was amazing for me. And that she had just after a few minutes been able to analyze that's what was going on in my life and been able to help me by sending me this link and encouraging me to apply.
Really cool. Anything else, James? Any other surprises?
I don't know if surprises. There's been a couple of things stand out. One is that we've had probably 4 sessions of an hour, but there's so much stuff that comes out of them. When it comes to finding a mentor, I've struggled with that a little bit because you can reach out to someone off the street and get someone, of questionable quality, or there's a program, or there's the kind of mentors at Tech Waka that you've organized, Jakob, who are dedicated and great, but I've always felt a little bit apprehensive to just reach out cold because these are busy people. It's who am I to reach out? And so having a program like this organized that will bring people of that caliber and make them accessible has been really good. All that swinging around to sort of the amount of content and things to do that are going to develop me that comes out of an hour session has been really, it's packed full of stuff to do. One example is I was complaining. I don't know if that's the right word. I was venting about some struggles I was having with team structure, and Alex pointed me to team topologies, the book, and was like, have you read this? And I'm like, it's been on my list and I've never gotten around to it. And okay, this is your homework now. You're going to go and read it and apply this stuff. And the resources and what are the things to do and the perspectives that come from someone trustworthy and experienced and external to what you're doing is all being really valuable.
I expected that the mentoring relationship would have some sort of benefit, but I was really blown away, especially now in hindsight, about what a huge difference it made. And it started from simple things like, Anna did a lot of mirroring. So when I was trying to explore, do I want to be more of a senior manager or do I want to be more of a technical leader? She would ask me lots of questions and I would talk. And then after a while, she would say, what I'm hearing from you is XYZ, or you sounded really excited when you talked about that. So basically giving me clarity about something that I had expressed that I wasn't really aware of myself, which was really amazing. And then also constantly reframing things that I came up with, such as, oh, this role that I'm applying for, I'm not actually 100% familiar with the tech that they're using. And then her pointing out, oh, but you've got all these transferable skills, and listing them really helped to get out of your, I don't know, sometimes I think it's when you're focused on a goal, it's like you've got your headlights focused on a single spot and you can't see anything around it. And I think that's what the mentor really enabled for me. She's showing the light on all the things around the spot that I was focusing on. And yeah, allowing me to break free from this little court situation that I had created for myself.
I think that's a really good observation. I think that sort of, would you say it's like they've got this high level perspective of the stuff you're doing? Like I felt that too, as I was describing some of the stuff I was working on. Because we had this shared history, we'd worked together at the same company. It was really obvious to Alex that I was trying to do some of the things that I'd done there, and actually those weren't appropriate. But I needed that perspective to come in and go, to be at a different level and point that out. And yeah, there's some really interesting stuff around what worked there at that time is not what's going to work here at this time. The world has changed, the companies are different, the industry's changed, lots of stuff around that. That was really necessary for me to stop and take stock a bit.
Yeah, for me, I hadn't worked with Anna previously. I only briefly met her the year before. And that kind of was almost an advantage for me, I think, because she pointed these things out all the time. You are really analytically, aren't you, Barbara? You try to think everything through to the nth degree. You are overthinking things again. And that is totally true, and something that you don't necessarily observe about yourself because you are just yourself. So that really helped me. Her different types of experiences as well, and what she's tried in her career that was successful for her, things that I wouldn't have thought of, such as applying for a really different range of jobs at the same time to gain clarity on what it might be that really pushes your buttons. So yeah, it was a really amazing experience.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So from what I hear from both of you, I'm going to guess, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm going to guess that investment that both of you made, and I think that's important for people who are listening to this and who are maybe considering applying for the next cohort, is you need to invest $300 to be part of the cohort or get your attendance sponsored by your company, and then it's $500. So I'm guessing that you are finding the value out of that. And If yes, maybe what are some of the tips for the people who are considering or maybe are unsure about applying? What could you offer to them?
I've been having this conversation today with some people about learning and development budgets, because a lot of companies have them, and this is exactly the sort of thing that you might want to use it for, which is what I did. But I come across so many people who just have this budget and they never touch. And it's like, it makes me angry. It's free money, use it. And so for me, it was like, here's this opportunity, here's this money that I should be spending. That's what I like too, is that it's not a profitable thing, right? You're giving to the foundation. So there's this extra layer of kind of, you're doing something good with it too. So yeah, it's definitely, from that angle, it was definitely worth what would I have spent that money on otherwise. It was, possibly some books or some online courses, and this is a lot more value than those would have been.
Yeah, I had worked with a career coach before, a person that I paid for her services, and I must say the $300 would have barely covered 2 sessions. So to me, it didn't really seem like a big investment, because I had, a hope that it would basically shift me on something that I had been stuck for a little while, and it did. In terms of what advice I might have for someone who is considering to join the program, it would be maybe become clear with yourself what it actually is that you want to achieve. What are your goals, or what are some specific problems that you're facing in your current role that you would like to change and improve on, and use that to drive the sessions as the mentee. I felt that was helping with myself to make progress, because I didn't expect my mentor to be like a psychoanalyst or try to figure out where I'm lacking or what I might be needing. I think being able to articulate that clearly myself and sort of seeking help on specific topics and specific actions got the most out of the time that she had available for me.
There's an investment of time too, right? That's really important. That it's an active mentoring program. You're not going to get a mentor and have them just feed you stuff. You've got to come with things that you want to solve. You've got to be prepared to do some work. It's not overwhelming, at least it hasn't been for me. Like, it's been do some reading, do some reflection on some of the things you want to achieve and the challenges. Sometimes it was one of the homework tasks I got was to attend a sales demo, because I'd clearly not done that in my company. Things like that, which is easy. Just it's commit the time to doing it. So be aware of that, the time commitment, and be prepared to put energy into it. And if you do that, you're going to get a lot out of it.
Yeah, I was actually just about to say the same. Be prepared to put energy into it. Before, I had been wondering a lot. I could be doing this, I could be doing that, I could be taking that path. And I didn't do any of these things. But then once I started working with a mentor, with a qualified professional who was willing to give up her time for me, that kind of was almost like it was permissioning me to press the go button on some of those ideas, plus way more ideas that she could bring to the table, and really start exploring these things in practice and giving them a go. And that was the thing that actually shifted and made me solve the problem, getting up and doing something about it. And that was really easy, having her by my side and encouraging me along the way.
Oh, I think that's a great way to wrap up. Thank you both. Again, thank you for trusting the Tech Waka cohort and signing up and being part of it. We need more people like yourself who are willing to take ownership of their growth and are not afraid to give it a go, and are working with mentors, because as you said, it is a two-way collaboration. Actually, one of the things I've been hearing from the mentors themselves is that they value this conversation because they are learning new things from their mentees, which I think is really important for them as well, for their growth, so that they can get something out of that conversation and relationship as well. Thank you both so much.
Amazing. Thank you, Jakob, for organizing it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jakob. It was brilliant.
No worries. Yeah, we're going to keep going. As I mentioned in the beginning, we are now having the application process open. So if you are listening to this, you're considering it, go to techwaka.co.nz. There's application from there. I think the deadline is sometime beginning of July, so you still have a couple of weeks. The form is quite simple. If you have any questions, just come find me or find Tech Waka on LinkedIn. And yeah, apply. We're going to have a bunch of mentors. Some of them are going to stay the same. So we're going to have a few more new ones. So it's going to be a bit different, same but different. Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you both so much. Thanks for joining us for this special episode of the Tech Waka podcast. If Barbara and James' story resonated with you and you're ready to invest in your own growth, applications are now open for the next Tech Waka Mentorship program. Just head to techwaka.co.nz to learn more. And a big thank you for our sponsor, Wires and Crossed, for supporting this community of tech leaders and learners.